our Everything Grows series. Just a reminder, in this video series you will learn how to start and take care of your very own garden in 8 weeks. That's 8 videos, 1 video per week, 8 minutes per video. We'll be covering everything you need to know about having a garden, garden basics, starting seeds, pest control. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's talk about what we'll be exploring today in week 2. Today we'll be answering 2 questions. How do plants grow, and what is soil? We'll start off with a writing activity to establish what we might already know about plant and soil science. We'll work on a science diagram of plant parts that gives us a close-up look at a plant's growing journey. We'll get outside for some fun exercise, and then we'll work on an edible soil experiment to help us determine what healthy soil is. I don't know about you, but I'm excited, so let's get started. Let's get started with a writing activity. Last week we set up an experiment with 2 plants. One of the plants we set up in the sun, and one we set in a dark cabinet. Over the past week you should have made some observations in your garden notebook about what you noticed about your plants and how they were growing. With basil seeds, it actually takes 7 to 14 days to start seeing any sort of sprouts. So we're going to take a look at my basil plants, which have been growing for 2 weeks. Write down some observations as each picture pops up. This plant was in the sunlight. This plant was in the dark cabinet. Here's a picture of both plants side by side. What do you notice? What differences do you see in the 2 plants? Did the sun make a difference in how the plants grew? What conclusions can you make about what plants need to grow? Pause the video here and take 10 minutes to write down your answers to these questions in your garden notebook. So what do plants need to grow? Let's see if we can figure that out using some helpful science diagrams. As each part pops up on the screen, you'll have 15 seconds. What I want you to do is draw each piece and write down what you think it is trying to tell us about what plants need. Are you ready? Our first piece is definitely our plant. Our next piece is soil with nutrients. Just like we need nutrients, plants need nutrients. Nutrients provide plants with the strength they need to grow big, strong, and healthy. Soil might just look like dirt, but some dirt can be full of nutrients and some cannot, just like junk food and healthy food. Our next piece is light. Light helps to make food for the plants in a process called photosynthesis. What's photosynthesis, you ask? Photosynthesis is when plants use the energy they get from the sun to convert the air and water they get into food to help them grow. This next part is water. Water helps move food and nutrients to all the different parts of the plant. And this last piece is air. Air is used to make food for the plants through that process we called photosynthesis. outside activity today is 15 jumping jacks. Make sure you pause the video and come back when you are done. Ready, set, go! Our first layer of healthy soil is going to be subsoil. That's going to be sandy in color, small amount of nutrients for plants, and it's much harder to grow in that unless you do a lot of work to it. Next is our topsoil. It's very dark in color, it contains lots of minerals and nutrients, and it's great for growing plants. Last is our humus layer, and that contains dead plant material, dead leaves, and it's really helpful for keeping our soil healthy. Now it's time to make our own soil that we can eat. You can use whatever foods you want as long as they're similar in texture and color to the ones seen here. You're also going to need a clear glass. Watch how I put my jar together and then create your own. Now it's your turn. Take 20 minutes or more if you need it. Next week we'll begin planning our garden by determining what plants we are going to grow and where we are going to grow them. Before next week, take your garden notebook outside and write down some ideas about where the best place for your garden will be. Think about these 3 things and write them down in your notebook. Will you grow your garden in containers? Or will you grow it in the ground? Where does the sun shine most in your yard? And where is your water source?